Girls Talk Shirts. Oh my gosh, it's been a while.
I know.
It's
been since last year.
Yeah, literally.
So,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We're almost through the first month of the new year.
January always feels so incredibly long. And don't mind Emily, she's going to cough several times during this episode.
Sorry. I am so sorry about that. The new year struck me in the lungs, particularly with some bronchitis, and I don't know if I have ever actually had bronchitis before. I know for a fact I've never gone to like a doctor and been told you've got bronchitis before.
Mm-hmm.
But this bronchitis that I was told by a doctor that I had has
taken you out.
I mean, I've never felt so. It's made me feel old because like I had this really bad cough and I was coughing so violently that my ribs then got very sore, which made it like very difficult for me to cough more because coughing then hurt. Sneezing would hurt. I had this one sneeze and my life flashed before my eyes. I was like, this is it. This sneeze has taken me out. But yeah, I couldn't like stand up straight there for a little bit because it just hurt so bad. And I said to Anthony one day, I was like, am I old? All of a sudden, like, is this what old people feel like every single day? Because I can't, like, this is torture. I couldn't do anything like with the kids. I couldn't sleep at night. It was so uncomfortable. Like,
well, the kids got sick.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. Poor Eloise had got pneumonia. And that's just scary. I mean, she's only 5 years old. Getting pneumonia. She had fevers, a straight like high fevers for 9 days. And one of those fevers was 105.9.
That's wild.
Which never in my life have I ever seen a fever be that high before. But she is doing a lot better now, thankfully. She actually did have a stomach bug last week. We went to Family Fun Center. The next day, starts throwing up. So now I blame Family Fun Center because there's no way they are keeping up with sanitizing.
Absolutely not.
Anything. And we were in the Funtasia area the entire time. And there were a ton of other people there too. It was Martin Luther King Day. So everybody's kids, didn't have school and whatnot. And so we decided to go there because it was freezing cold outside here in Florida. Mm-hmm. So instead of playing outside, we wanted to play inside. Went to Funtasia.
Well, there's also just a lot of sicknesses going around right now.
The sick season so far
is sick. Has
been miserable. The only one who has not gotten sick, I don't know how, is Bo. And I think it's because he's just a fighter. On the outside, he's, he's been walking past here several times and pretending to shoot me with spider webs every single time he walks by.
Mm-hmm. He's an independent guy.
And I think his, white blood cells or whatever it is that does the fighting on the inside, they're also doing, their own spider web sort of maneuver to any viruses that try to enter his body.
Yeah.
They're like, absolutely not. Do you know whose body this is? Okay. Yeah. We don't have time for this.
Graceland has dealt with a little bit of sickness this January as well, which this is the little side story I was going to tell you earlier.
Yes, go ahead.
So as we've mentioned before, the girls will be starting kindergarten this year. Yay for that. We are still awaiting to see if we're going to find out if the girls are going to go to school together. We're praying on that.
I'm just going to set it in motion right now. It's happening. Will they be in the same class? That is to be determined, but they're going to be at the same school for sure.
I hope so. I am hoping so. So the school did tell me like I could go ahead and work on getting some forms ready for the chance that she gets accepted to the school. So I reach out to her pediatrician to get her shot record and this other form that they need. And their doctor's office calls me back and they're like, yeah, we can give you her papers. There's no problem. Only thing is whenever you come and pick up the papers, we have to redo her hearing test because she failed it at her wellness check in December. Excuse me?
Why would they not have told you back in December that she failed it?
my child failed her hearing test? And they were like, yeah, they have it on your paper right here that she failed. I was standing right there. The tech was like, oh, she's good to go. And, looking back now, maybe she was just meaning like, okay, she's good to like go to the room. But I took it as she's good to go. Like, we're good. I feel like that would have been an instance to be like, okay, mom, she didn't pass. We'll bring it to the doctor's attention. No, that wasn't said. And then at her wellness check, they did say that she had an ear infection that day. So the girl I talked to on the phone, she was like, maybe that's why it just got missed because she had the ear infection. That can cause her to fail the test, blase, swaze. And so she's like, it's fine. Whenever you come and pick up the papers, we'll just redo the hearing test. It's like, okay, great. I'm thinking it's just a glitch. Like, she's going to pass. It's fine. I pick up the papers. We go into the room. We're not seeing the doctor. We're just seeing the MA. And she takes us back there, does the test, and very nonchalantly just goes, yeah, she didn't pass. I about burst into tears. And I'm like, but what does that mean? I'm like, is my child losing her hearing? Like, what do you mean she didn't pass? And she goes, oh, I don't know. Like, we're going to have to probably send her to ENT. And I'm like,
wait, what? So this is her redoing the test or telling you she didn't pass again?
Yeah. And this was like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. So a month after her ear infection that we treated with antibiotics for 10 days. And so when we're leaving, I'm like, okay, but why wasn't this brought up at her wellness check? And they're like, oh, I don't know. Like, it just got missed or whatever. They have no concern and are not picking up the vibes that I am extremely concerned. And because like my brain, though it has medical knowledge, my medical knowledge goes out the window when anything happens to Graceland. That is just a poor characteristic of mine. That is just how it is. It's probably how it's always going to be. And so they were like, oh, we'll put a message into the doctor and we'll give you a call back. I'm like, who's going to give me a call back? You're going to give me a call back? Or the doctor's going to give me a call back? They're like, no, we're going to put in for the doctor to call you. Good answer.
Perfect.
So then the doctor calls me like an hour later, super apologetic. She's like, I am so sorry this got missed or whatever. At her appointment, maybe I thought the tech had told you, but I will take full blame for this. Like, I should have made sure that you were aware. And then with her ear infection and everything, it just, I don't know how it got missed, but I apologize that it got missed. And I was like, that is fine that it got missed. I don't really care. My issue is that she failed again. Mm-hmm. So like, is she losing her hearing? And she goes, no, like that is not what's happening here, blah, blah, blah. Again, my entire medical knowledge out the window.
What did they do? Because when I took Eloise, her and Bo had an appointment at the same time. And so they came and they took Eloise into the hallway to do her vision and hearing test while I stayed in the room with a second nurse while they were doing something with Bo. So I wasn't there. Is it like a hearing test where like she's having to wear something and like pressing like a button whenever she hears something?
The ones that they do in the office are, they put these little, they almost look like little buds type situations in their ear, and it's testing, from my understanding, it's testing how far the frequency goes in the ear. And so if it's getting to the point to where it needs to go in terms of the sound frequency. But it can be they can fail it for different reasons, which I found out if there's an infection, they can fail it. If they have built up earwax, they can fail it. If the test is completed wrong, like wrong placement, it can be come up as false. Or if they have built up fluid in their ears from not draining. Which her doctor told me all of this. That was a possibility. So she was like, I want her to come back next week. I want to look in her ears. If everything looks normal, then that's when we'll have to send her to audiology and then possibly ENT. And so we make the appointment for the next week. We go back. She doesn't complain about her ears or anything, but like I am on edge like this whole time.
Does she sit there still and let the doctor look in her ears?
Mm-hmm. I mean, she kind of like puts her shoulder up a little bit, but she's gotten better with her doctor.
I know that like you have issues with like her earrings and stuff.
Yeah. No, she's gotten pretty good with the doctor looking in her ears, but like she still is weird about like changing earrings and stuff like that. But so for like the next 3-4 days, however long it was till the appointment, I would be like whispering to Graceland. I'm like, can you hear me? Can you hear me? And she starts getting to the point where she's
I wish I could have seen that. Like you like hiding behind the wall or something. Graceland, can you hear me?
And then like, so anytime now that I'm talking to her and she goes, huh? And I'm like, oh my God, she can't hear me.
She can't hear me.
Oh my gosh. It has been absolute torture. And so we go to this appointment and the doctor comes in again. She's super apologetic about everything.
Yeah.
And so she looks in her ears and she says, well, her ears are completely fine. Like there's no signs of infection and there's no built up earwax. And I'm like, so what does this mean?
Start learning sign language.
And she was like, well, I can already see she's very congested. Like homegirl has like snot coming out of her nose. Her eyes are kind of puffy. She's like, I think, which her doctor has kind of said this pretty much several times for the last like few years, is that she thinks Graceland just has kind of severe like seasonal allergies. And like a lot of the times that she gets sick, she's not actually sick. She just has really bad allergies.
Yeah.
So she thinks that she's getting fluid built up in the ears, but she doesn't know if it's necessarily because like the function is not there to drain, or it's just she's getting so like the allergies are so bad that it's just producing so much fluid that it's causing it to build up or whatever. So she said that we do have to go see audiology and they have to do another test to decide if that is the case, if she has fluid behind her ears, and if it's a functionality thing to where she will need tubes placed. If she needs tubes placed, then we have to go to ENT, have her evaluated, and then schedule her to get tubes. So that whole situation. And then, so that was on Tuesday was her appointment. She's fine. Tuesday night, in the middle of the night, she wakes up screaming that her ear's hurting.
Oh, no.
So we give her ibuprofen. She goes to sleep. The next day, she's still complaining. And her doctor told us to like give her Claritin every day. She gave her a nose spray. Let me tell you, that is equivalent to wrestling an alligator, trying to get this kid to do a nasal spray.
I have had people say like, oh, like just give them the nose spray. Like, I don't like doing nose spray as an adult. You think I'm going to be able to get my children to do a nose spray?
It has been awful. Morgan actually was telling me about one that she's used for her kids, and I'll probably look into it because it's a smaller like thing that goes like right at the tip of the nose, like it doesn't go inside. So I think that may be our next route. But her doctor's like, when audiology calls you to schedule it for like 2 weeks out. That way you have Claritin every day for 2 weeks and you have the nasal spray for 2 weeks. By the time you see audiology, everything should just be dried up. I'm like, okay, but this isn't going to fix the problem. Like, I don't want to have to give her Claritin and Flonase every single day, every winter.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, I think she just has, these really bad allergies, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, honestly, I wish I could just wait till spring when all this weather kind of calms down and then go from there, because she's like, I really think this is just allergies. Like, I don't think she has a structural issue. So now we wait. But like I said, she woke up in the middle of the night screaming in pain. Then she ended up having a fever because of her ears or whatever. So then we called the doctor, and now she's on antibiotics again because she's like, I'm pretty positive she has another ear infection. So
oh my God.
That's been our last
How
month.
long was it for her to be off the antibiotics for the first time to this?
She finished her last round of antibiotics the day we left for Georgia.
Okay.
So the day after Christmas. So not even a month. which I really don't like.
That's how it was like. I mean, I don't have any medical knowledge the way you do, but when the week before we left for London, remember we were here recording and Atticus had that fever.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the whole next week after that, he had a fever for the entire week. It wasn't until that Friday that we were able to get him and the other two into the pediatrician. It was the day that I got my hair extensions. We took them to the pediatrician because he had a fever for a straight week. And I didn't know what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to just make sure that all of them were healthy before I took them on a plane to a completely different country.
Right.
Thankfully it was an English speaking country, but still, I don't know how they're medically, like what if something happens in the air?
Mm-hmm.
I'm over the ocean. What can I do then? So it was that Friday that we take him to the pediatrician, but we couldn't see their regular pediatrician, just another one that was in the office. And pretty much, and also I did take him to a walk-in clinic one night, it was like the third day of his fever. And I only took him to a walk-in clinic that day because it was 5:30, so I couldn't take him to the pediatrician.
Mm-hmm.
Take him there. They see him. Couldn't do anything for the fever. They say, oh, it's just a virus. You just got to let it work its way out, which I understand. You can go back and forth between Motrin and Tylenol for that, but there's no actual medication that they can give for it. She checks his ears, sees that one of them is infected, and says that she's going to give an antibiotic for that. Great. So now he's on that antibiotic for a couple of days by Friday. Go there. The doctor, pretty much just from me telling the symptoms, she's like, oh, we've been seeing a lot of cases of walking pneumonia of grade school kids. I'm pretty positive that is what he's got, but let me take a look and listen to his lungs and stuff. Listen to his lungs and everything. And pretty much says yeah, I'm confident he's got walking pneumonia. We do not do a chest x-ray because she said, I'm going to treat him the same way, whether or not you get the chest x-ray or not.
Fair.
So I was like, okay, I mean, if I'm not having to pay for an extra thing, sure. She checks his ears. Both of his ears are now badly infected, which I thought was odd because the day I took him to the walk-in clinic, he wasn't even complaining about his one ear hurting,
mm-hmm. but
now both of them are infected and he's been on this other antibiotic for 2.5 days at that point. Check Eloise's ears. Her ears have fluid in them, at the start of a double ear infection. So she gets antibiotics. Bo, again, perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with him. And so Atticus gets medicine. Eloise gets medicine. We leave. They call me, say, hey, I was looking through his chart. The antibiotic that the other doctor prescribed for him doesn't treat ear infections. Stop it immediately. I am also going to prescribe him amoxicillin, same as Eloise. Okay, great. Now I'm kind of in a rage because do I now write up this other doctor or whatever? I don't. Maybe if I had more time, I would have maybe at least done something, written to somebody. I don't even know who I'd write to about that. I know, maybe I could now get Trump on the line and say, hey, this doctor did this to my kid. But so there was that. That was Friday. The Wednesday after that is when we fly out to London. So Eloise and Atticus are on the amoxicillin for 10 days. I actually keep them on it a little bit longer than that because Anthony's dad, who is a chiropractor, so he also has medical knowledge. He brought his otoscope with him because knowing that the kids had their ears messed up, he just wanted to keep an eye on it while we were there. And Anthony's ears on the flight to London get messed up. Perfect. Great. So the entire time we're in London, Anthony's ears are consistently getting worse. And I keep Atticus and Eloise on the amoxicillin to the point to where they just finish it off completely because Scotty, Anthony's dad, was like, they're still not looking the best. Just give them all of it if you can. So do that. So we get to London, fly out on the 18th, get there on the 19th. By the 25th, Christmas, Eloise is when she starts her fever stuff. We don't get back here until the 28th, blah, 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 find out she has pneumonia, all this stuff. So to me, I'm just like, I don't know how medicine works, but if she was just on amoxicillin, how is her body also able to start the pneumonia stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then she just gets on more amoxicillin, and then also this other stuff for like the cough and everything from the pneumonia. But how does that happen? How does she have an antibiotic in her body? And then just a few days later, she's able to start this whole new.
Because I'm sure Anthony's dad can tell you all this as well. But from my understanding, there's different. So the bacteria that causes like an ear infection is not necessarily the same bacteria that would cause pneumonia. So the antibiotic that they give you is specific. If it's not like a broad spectrum, it's specific to whatever bacteria that they're trying to necessarily kill.
Yeah.
So the bacteria that caused her ear infection, it may not have been affected by the antibiotics that she was taking for the pneumonia, or vice versa.
Yeah. I don't know. Just like,
but no, I get that.
I'm
surprised, honestly, they put her back on amoxicillin instead of switching it to something else because she was just on amoxicillin.
Yeah. I thought that too, but
because like,
I don't know. I also don't know like what other, I don't know the names of other antibiotics and stuff.
Yeah. Because the antibiotic they just gave Graceland on Friday is a completely different antibiotic than she was on in December.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. But the past several weeks have been just like one sickness after the next. And like with like my bronchitis, like my ribs are still a little sore. Like I went back to the doctor in urgent care. I really do need you to finish up because I need somebody other than just like some random urgent care doctor that doesn't give a crap about me. You know, I'm just another face to them, you know, another body. Mm-hmm. But I did go back because my ribs were just hurting so bad. My cough, and coughs do linger. Like I get that, but like I really need this one to go because my ribs were just hurting so bad. But so I went back. They gave me more like prescription cough medicine. And thankfully in a pill this time. The first cough medicine they gave me, liquid, tasted like actual poison. Like poison, you know, like it was horrible, the taste of that. Like the minute it touched my tongue, it was like, oh, you know, like horrible stuff. And then now I wasn't on a steroid the first time. Mm-hmm. It was just prescription cough medicine, poison crap, and something to help me sleep because I wasn't sleeping. Mm-hmm. Now it's a pill version of cough medicine and a steroid. So, but I'm almost done with that. I think I only have like one more day. I do feel a little bit better. Still definitely a little sore. I do think I will go and get an adjustment from Dr. Scotty Eisen at the Cleveland Heights Chiropractic Clinic, conveniently located in South Lakeland, but worth the trip from anywhere. Let me know if you want the, address, phone number, make yourself an adjustment, an appointment for an adjustment. I will be going to kind of help a little bit more, maybe even they do have a massage therapist, maybe get a massage to kind of really help get all the aches and pains out. Mm-hmm. So I am finally feeling a little bit better, but good gracious, it has taken a long time. And I did have like that, goal or resolution to be more mindful with my time and to start working out again. I have not done it. because I've been just feeling so crap. Everybody has been feeling so crappy besides Bo. Bo has been ready to go every single day.
I love it.
And it's been so cold. And I haven't been wanting to go outside. Because it's not like, oh, it's cold and snowy, let's go sledding or something. You know, it's just been
It's frigid and
really cold. And what am I'm supposed
like
to
rainy
I'm
too.
supposed to stand outside and let my children play on the playground while I turn into a popsicle? No, thank you. You know? And there's not really that many like indoor places to go other than Funtasia. And then you go there and then your child the next day wakes up throwing up. So,
Fair.
which nothing against Funtasia, but there's just no way they are properly cleaning anything.
They
in that
can't
facility.
because like adults can't fit
Yeah.
in half the places of Fantasia.
Yeah. What are they supposed to do? Hire, children to go in there and try to clean it?
There are labor laws, so no, they can't.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, that's the sickness that's taken over the first part of our year.
Yeah. But I'm hoping I'm going to try this next week. I've already told myself just try to maybe just go for a walk every single day and trying to get up at a good time to where I can do like some like light Bible reading or something to start my day, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Is it the thought that counts in this situation?
It is.
Good. Then I'm going to take that with me.
What else happened this month? I started back at school.
Yeah. So how many classes do you have now?
4.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So what days are you going?
Thursday.
So it's just one day and you have all 4 classes on one day?
So no.
Okay.
Thankfully. So I have one class that is online, which I don't really like the setup of that class because the days that like things are due are off from like my other classes.
Yeah.
I have one class that I have every week. It is my first class every Thursday. I get there at 8:30 and I go to that class until 12:30. And
the class goes from 8:30 to 12:30. That's insane.
But I will say this class, half of it is like lecture and half of it, not even really half, is lab. It's more lecture than lab. But
do you have a break in between the lecture and the lab?
She gives us like 10, 15-minute breaks throughout the class. But yeah, when we switch from lecture and we go downstairs to lab, she gives us like 10 minutes and then we go to lab. But lab is usually just because it's my health assessment class. So we're basically learning how to assess a patient and we're going through like each body system. So like this past week we did head, ears, eyes, nose, throat. So then when we went down to lab, that's what we were practicing was that assessment. And then I have 2 other classes that switch each week. So some weeks I'll have leadership, some weeks I'll have diagnostic. So like this week I had diagnostic and we did dermatology and I learned how to do a shave biopsy and a punch biopsy.
Is that what you needed the banana for?
That is why I needed the banana. My banana was like getting rotten like by the minute while I was in school also. Like it was turning brown like actively while I was at school.
You've talked to me about your banana situation before. Where are you getting your bananas?
From Publix, and all of them have been bad.
Are you getting the organic kind or the regular?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't do the grocery shopping. So I don't know which bananas we get and I don't really pay attention. But they've gotten slightly better. Not all of them are rotten now, but there for a while, every bunch we would get, they would look completely fine on the outside. Then I'd open it and they'd be black all inside.
Gross.
I know. But, so yeah, school has been rough, but I did cut my hours at work. So I'm only working Mondays and Fridays, which is nice. But
so Are you taking Graceland to school then on Tuesdays and Wednesdays?
Yeah. So that's still been kind of the hard part, is because I don't get those full days to like do anything, because Graceland's only at school for 4 hours. So I have to get her up, feed her breakfast, like get her ready, drive her 20 minutes to school, drop her off, do that whole situation, and then leave, drive 20 minutes, go home. And then
how long would you say it takes to like actually drop her off?
Depends on the day.
Okay.
Some days we've gotten it down to I can take her up there, and even if she's crying, like I still just kind of drop her off and I go. But there's been a couple days that like I've either needed to talk to somebody, or it's just been a little bit more difficult with her. But for the most part, it doesn't take too long, but check her in, take her upstairs and get her adjusted, and then I leave. But then
like you're not really having that much time to do any like school stuff or chores around the house or anything.
Yeah. So by the time I get home from dropping her off, like I don't have time to like really get in the zone of doing anything for school. So I either try to just do something for school that I know is quick, or that I can easily like jump in and out of. Or I just do like a chore or something, but I don't even have time to do like long tasks at all, because I feel like then I just have to leave to go get her from school. And then whenever we come home, then I have her to like entertain. So like I can't like really get focused. And then on top of that, the puppy, I feel like I can't really focus on those 2 days. So I've recently told Aaron that I need to figure out something, either ask my gracious mother-in-law if she can like take one of those days as like a day that I drop Grayson off in the morning. Like either I drop her off at school and like she picks her up from school and keeps her like the rest of the day, or I drop her off to her in the morning and she takes her and picks her up, whichever is easier. And just so I have another day that I can like really devote to it, because right now I have like the weekends, but then Aaron works 2 weekends and then is off 2 weekends. So like the weekends that he's working are not easy to get anything done, because I have Graceland and again the dogs. So it's been a lot of like trying to figure out how to get into a routine with all 4 classes, and all of them have different due dates for things. And so it's just been a little hard, but we're figuring it out.
All right.
Well, that's all we have. I mean, this is probably one of the more boring episodes.
Kind of all over the place.
Honestly, Savannah and I have said this multiple times, but we have to just start pressing record the minute we get together, because we talked about a lot of stuff before we pressed record. Like we were talking about the end of times, like what is the Antichrist going to look like? How do we prepare for that sort of situation? I don't know. And we talked about space exploration,
all kinds of things.
So we really, really have 3 or 4 solid episodes that we talk about before we even press record.
Yeah.
So
I was going to ask you, how do you feel about doing the Bible app, like the verse of the day instead? Because we've run out of shirts to talk about, I fear.
Oh my gosh.
And so what if we did like the Bible verse of the day?
Yeah.
At the
then
end,
if they invent new shirts in the meantime, then we can talk about them. But yeah, I agree. There's no more shirts, and I don't know, as we've discussed, I don't know materials. So.
All right. So let's see. Today's Bible verse is Mark 3:25, and it's, if a house is divided against itself, that house cannot stand.
That literally goes with the church stuff that we were talking about before we press record. Oh my gosh. Like,
it does.
Like legitimately, they had to split because they couldn't stand together. Thank you, Mark. I know, I like that. I'd like to incorporate.
I mean, maybe in future episodes we have more time.
Because I'm watching it and we really only have like 2 more minutes before my SD card's going to be like, I'm tapped out.
Yeah. So the next time we'll make sure we have time for that. We can, discuss
it a little bit more.
Or maybe we can start with that and then like kind of lead into there.
Yeah. Maybe start with it. And then maybe we can try to do like I'm literally done. We're down to 58 seconds. Maybe we could bring it back at the end. I don't know.
Kinda
something.
title in.
Yeah. Title in full circle, almost kind of like a Full House episode, you know, like there's some sort of something that happens at the beginning, but then by the end it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody's hugging. Danny Tanner's cleaning the house, you know.
All right. So we'll do that next time.
All
Hope
right.
you guys come back. Listen to our next episode. I promise it'll
season
probably
3. Season 3.
I don't
guys.
even think we said that.
It's season 3.
Season 3.
Have 30 seconds. This is season 3. I just had on my my time hop. It was like a year ago yesterday when we started this whole thing.
Yeah.
So congratulations, Girls Talk Shirts.
You made it a year, and
We
we're
did
about
it.
to run out of time.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.